Sir, we've been through this. The Steel Ball Run anime won't be out for another couple years. Sitting here won't change anything. Please leave.
Oh hey, you're here too. What am I doing? Well, I'm currently in the middle of waiting for the Steel Ball Run anime adaptation. But it seems we're going to be here a while, so why don't we talk about something to pass the time? I could talk at length about the series' themes and characters, but today, I want to specifically talk about the stand belonging to our boy, Johnny Joestar, otherwise known as Tusk Act 4. The Jojo universe is filled with a variety of stands that can control the fabric of reality itself, such as time and space. Tusk Act 4 in particular is a manifestation of infinite gravity, and the stand has utilized this in pretty cool ways. So I thought to myself, hey, what if we threw Tusk into a gladiator match with some of the strongest stands in the series? Just how well would he fare? Let's see if Tusk can solo at least a good amount of the Jojo universe. That's right, another one of these, because you guys enjoy my content so much.
What more do you want from me?
I made 2 or 3 other videos with this concept with other stands, so check those out if you haven't already. But frankly, at least 2 of them suck. Now normally I'd make some broad assumptions about how Tusk would do against certain stand types, and then bring up some examples. But that's not what we're doing today, dear viewer. So instead, I'll pick out 7 stands from the close range brawler types, and make Tusk fight them in glorious combat. If Tusk can beat these stands, then he'll fare a better chance at the others in the universe. Now I know this kinda goes against the title of the video. In that regard, I'll just say 2 things. 1. Do you have any idea how long it would take to make Tusk fight every stand?
Hell no, man. What the fuck?
I don't have that kind of time on my hands. 2nd, yeah, you got clickbaited. But depending on how this video does, aka if anyone actually bothers to watch it, I might make a part 2. Also, I'm not gonna bring up D4C Love Train, since the dude already got bodied once. I would like to do a long explanation of how Tusk's abilities work, but I've already done that. Like a lot of times. So the only thing you need to concern yourself about is 1. Johnny's ability is to fire his fingernails like bullets that are super destructive. They follow their opponents for a couple seconds like how a seagull homes in on the first piece of food they see. Johnny can enter the holes in space-time his ability creates, which allows him to set up sneak attacks or get more angles of attack. 3. Tusk Act 4 can force you into an infinite spin, which will never stop, and spells doom for anyone unlucky enough to be on the receiving end. Star Platinum is pretty much the poster boy or poster stand for the entire series. As we all know, Star Platinum possesses incredible strength and speed, being strong enough to send your average monkey flying for miles, as if it was part of the police force. This strength is so high that the stand can easily break diamonds with its bare hands and keep a road roller in the air by punching it. The stand is so fast it can create after images by moving, catch bullets, and keep up with Silver Chariot, who can react and attack at light speed. Star Platinum's most dangerous ability is his ability to stop time for 2 to 5 seconds, which is pretty much a death sentence for most involved. At first glance, Johnny may be at a bit of a disadvantage. The stand's speed makes it so any nail bullets Johnny fires could easily be caught. I don't think Johnny's ability to move the angle of his bullets would be useful either. Star Platinum's precision and reaction time will make it so it can catch at least most coming its way. In regards to the homing bullets, it wouldn't be too difficult for Jojo to avoid them. And even if he does get hit, Jojo has proven himself to be a pretty durable guy. In a battle of range, Johnny's nail bullets wouldn't be so useful, but the tables may turn once Johnny pulls out Tusk Act 4. Jotaro and Star Platinum have always been keen on getting as close and personal with their opponents, beating them senselessly, with them somehow not dying in the process, as if he was trying to be Batman. Well, this one trait with Jotaro may be the end for him. Remember Tusk Act 4's ability to force people into an infinite spin? As long as Johnny manages to activate it, it's more than likely that Jotaro will close the distance and engage in a stand barrage with Act 4. Once their fists connect, the infinite energy will transfer to Jotaro, and things would be pretty much over from there. But I know some of you will say,
Bro, Jotaro can just stop time and snap Johnny's neck. By the way, why aren't you back in the jungle?
You didn't have to put it that way, but I was just getting to that. For this example, I'll be using Diego's fight with Johnny for reference. From what we've seen, Johnny doesn't really have any hard counters to Diego. Just like typical Dio fashion, Diego had many opportunities to kill Johnny whenever he wanted, but his ego just got in the way, I guess. In most cases, Jojo's far more efficient with time stop and doesn't waste any unnecessary time. So Johnny may be screwed if Jotaro activates it at the beginning of the fight, and before anyone mentions it, I know Tusk has the ability to move in time stop, but it wasn't by much, so it wouldn't exactly come in handy. A fight between these two mostly comes down to who activates their trump cards first. Yeah, Made in Heaven's a little too fast for Johnny to deal with. First of all, the stand's whole point is to accelerate the speed of inanimate objects, which would include Johnny's nail bullets. The amount of environmental hazards that would be created would hinder Johnny's focus. Second of all, Pushi can move alongside the acceleration, meaning that any nail bullets Johnny would fire can easily be dodged. Remember Star Platinum's ability to react and counter a stand, who could also react and counter light speed attacks? Well, that same stand could barely keep up with Pushi's movements. If Johnny pulled out Tusk Act 4, which I doubt can move any faster than Star Platinum, then it's highly doubtful that they'd be able to inflict the infinite spin on Pushi. Pushi may in fact be able to kill Johnny before he ever fired a shot. At this point, Johnny doesn't even need to worry about being able to walk again, because he'll be dead. Well hey, maybe he can finally join his brother and Rat in heaven. Things aren't all doom and gloom for Johnny. He still has two ways to fight back. The bullet holes created by Act 2 can follow their opponents for a short time, and since they count as inanimate objects, they'd be sped up by the acceleration. So the bullet holes will be able to damage Pushi as long as they manage to hit him. Once Pushi's dead, he can finally meet his Lord and Savior in heaven. Well no, he'll probably be in hell. The final way for Johnny to stand a chance is to simply hide in his bullet holes for a couple hours, preferably 2 days. Since this plane exists in another dimension, it will likely be unaffected by time acceleration. Pushi being unable to get to Johnny will likely wait for another opportunity to unalive him, giving Johnny ample time to come up with a plan. Now, I've actually made a video on this in the past, which got age restricted. But I argued that Johnny's nail bullets would keep Josuke at bay for long periods of time, and he'd be unable to close the distance. And since Josuke would be unaware of the infinite rotation, it would take hold of him, and he'd be unable to undo it, spelling his ultimate demise. Even if Josuke stole the properties of any object, and potentially took away Johnny's eyesight or friction, the nail bullets in their holes would simply ignore this fact and pursue Gappy regardless, because it's clear Johnny doesn't need a line of sight for them to function. But Soft and White Go Beyond could potentially turn the tables. It's already known that the bubbles of Go Beyond technically don't exist, and can ignore the laws of the Jojo world, and with their ability to erase matter, Johnny would be screwed if he got hit 1 or 2 times. With their nature, it's likely that they can enter the holes in space Johnny may utilize. There's another advantage to them that I've gotten wrong in previous videos. I've always assumed that the bubble on Josuke's fingertips was Go Beyond, but it's actually related to the bubbles you see here. The real Go Beyond bubble acts as its own independent unit and does whatever it wants. This uncontrollable nature makes it difficult to predict its movements. An added bonus is that it's difficult to see, increasing the likelihood that Johnny would get hit at least once. But even if Johnny gets hit, I wouldn't call that a checkmate, as it took at least 2 of them to take Toru out. So in a lot of cases, Johnny would likely achieve victory. Giorno is screwed. Gold Expense Requiem's whole point is that it can return the actions and willpower of individuals to 0, but Tusk Act 4 is made out of infinite energy. If it's infinite, then that means there's no beginning or end to return anything to, meaning that Tusk Act 4 can bypass the return to 0 ability, spelling the end for Giorno Giovanna. Wait, why are you looking at me like that? What was I talking about again? Oh right, Gold Expense Requiem. Well, the gist is, Johnny's nail bullets and all of his actions will be returned to 0. The Joestar bloodline would come to an end right there. I'm not even including the fact that Tusk Act 4's stats come nowhere near GER's, and we gotta remember GER's massively expanded stand ability. Return to 0 would prevent Johnny from ever being able to do anything. Now, King Crimson is definitely a hard counter to Johnny's Tusk. Thanks to King Crimson's ability to skip time, not only will fighting him be extremely disorienting for Johnny, but it's likely he won't be able to hurt King Crimson in the first place. First of all, Diavolo's immune to any and all forms of damage during time skip, meaning that no matter how many bullets Johnny fires at Diavolo, it won't mean much, as they can't hit him. Second is that Diavolo can see all of Johnny's movements with Epitaph, including the fact Act 2's bullets can follow him, and that Act 3 can create portals. Due to this, Tusk's biggest advantage, the element of surprise, becomes completely worthless. All Diavolo needs to do is move behind Johnny and impale him like he does to all his enemies. Killer Queen technically has 3 abilities: the power to turn anything to a bomb, the power to create a substand called Sheer Heart Attack, and the power to time travel. With its first ability, these bombs have been shown to be invisible to the naked eye, and it takes 1 or 2 of these bombs to kill your average stand user. but it doesn't seem to come in handy in close quarter situations. If Johnny fired the nail bullets at Kira, Killer Queen is fast enough to deflect them, but these deflected nail bullets would simply transform into the pursuing holes, in which Kira may not have any way to deal with them. Attempting to turn them into bombs would simply backfire, since it's not really possible to touch them. If that makes any sense, because you know, they're holes on his body. Touching them would be like touching himself?
You're not funny, stop dragging this joke, idiot.
Okay fine, let's just assume that Kira can make these holes explode and dissipate. Anyways, in an inevitable barrage with Act 4 and Killer Queen, Kira would be screwed if he was inflicted by the infinite rotation. Kira isn't well suited for combat with other stand users from what I've seen. His powers are more reliant on the element of surprise, but Tusk is also well suited for that kind of environment, so that advantage gets lost a little bit. Remember what I said about Kira trying to deal with the bullet holes? Well, if Johnny were to hide Tusk Act 4 within it, he wouldn't expect it, and things would be over from there. Sheer Heart Attack is a formidable substand that can probably tank the nail bullets, but what do you think's gonna happen if he gets inflicted by the infinite spin? Its durability would be kinda pointless. At this point, Kira only has one option: use Bites the Dust on himself, and travel back in time. There are two possible scenarios if he chooses to use it. Either he gets another opportunity to plan a strategy against Johnny, or in another likely scenario, he gets inflicted by the infinite spin, and any attempt to undo it by traveling back in time would be useless, because as we all know, the rotation is infinite and transcends time and space. Yeah, Johnny's dead. There's no real scenario in which I can see him getting out alive. And just to remind those who forgot, Johnny already got bodied by Calamity, not just once, but twice. So out of the 7 stands I brought up, Johnny and Tusk Act 4 can beat 3 of them, but get bodied by the other 4. Their abilities are just far too powerful to handle. So far, Tusk can solo 0.1% of the Jojo universe. On to the next group of combatants. Anyways, that's the end of part 1 of this video. Congrats if you made it this far, and subscribe I guess.